What is up, Mets fans? Welcome back to a special episode of the Messed Up Podcast. This is insane. Probably one of the weirdest episodes we have ever done and will ever do. We're currently in the desert, out in Arizona. We flew out for the World Series between the Diamondbacks and the Rangers. Going to talk to you guys about that. Of course, talk to you about any of the stuff going on in the Mets world as well. James, I believe you have our coordinates?
I do have our coordinates.
If you guys want to see where we are.
As Mark said, live from the desert, you might be able to hear the birds chirping in the background.
We almost hit an elk
on
the
way here. There's a cactus right behind us. And we are at 33.701-2632 and -11-8512-635.
Welcome to the Mets Up Podcast in the desert. Boys are out here. Super excited. World Series been great. Having a good time. Shout out to our friend Dalton, who's letting us stay with him.
Dalton
Appreciate it. Really makes the trip a lot easier to make.
So much. And it's funny because Dalton's a friend of mine from a job I used to have that neither of us have that job anymore. And then I just introduced him to Mark randomly a few times, and he'd come out to the city for Mets games. And we had such a fun time that Mark was able to come here last week without me, and now we're back here together. Mark, 2 out of 2 weeks in the desert.
Yeah, we're back. I've been spending more time in Arizona than I have in New York, and I've been having a blast. And honestly, last night, your first ever World Series game ever. Tell me about your experience, because I've been to I went to 2015 when the Mets were there. So what did you think?
I was sad to miss 2015 just because I was living in Ohio at the time, going to school, and I wound up coming home trying to see if we could get a ticket. It happened to also be my mom's birthday. It's a funny story I think I've told in this podcast before, but the day the Mets won, I believe that was Game 3, the Syndergaard game, the first game they won in the World Series. That was a Friday night in college, Halloween. I had booked a flight, stupidly, the next morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, to go back to New Jersey, surprise my mom for her birthday, which is November 3rd. Shout out my mom. Almost going to be her birthday when this episode comes out. Shout out G. And I tweeted because that David Wright home run, the Noah Syndergaard pitch, the way Granderson, I think Darno also had a big hit late in that game. It made me and my one friend, shout out Ryan, my Mets friend in college, just completely feral. Like, we were at a Halloween party just wearing Mets jerseys, not even mingling, not talking to anybody, planted in front of the TV watching the game, and we went out crazy. One of the bars in Columbus had someone working there who was from Queens.
Really?
And they saw our Mets stuff. They were like, "You guys, all night, for free." We were like, "Really?" We're like, "Yeah."
Those $2 drinks in Columbus.
Yeah, right? I mean, when you're 19, it still matters.
Of course.
It's a free drink. A free drink's a free drink. And then the only one of the 2 flights I've ever missed in my life, completely slept through it. Got on the next one standby, thankfully. Shout out to Columbus Airport. But didn't wind up getting to the World Series that weekend. So this was my first ever World Series. And incredible environment. The Diamondbacks fans, there's been a lot made about this World Series in terms of lower viewership or these kind of fan bases that people don't really think about when they think of classic baseball franchises.
No.
But the Diamondbacks faithful really showed up. We met someone before the game with a straight up Diamondbacks tattoo.
Yeah.
A lot of people. One of the coolest things about being at this World Series is how many iterations of Diamondbacks teams there have been in recent years and how many crazy jerseys we saw at the game.
Yeah, we've been wanting to do Threadheads, but obviously we're a Mets account. Feels weird to maybe do Arizona Diamondbacks stuff there. But we saw a Steven Drew jersey.
Joe Mantiply.
Brandon Webb.
I wore an Adam Eaton jersey from Dalton.
Yeah, signed Adam Eaton jersey.
And
I had my AJ Pollock jersey on, which I've just been rocking for every single game out here. Yeah, I mean, comparing it to what I saw in 2015 with the Mets, obviously a little more nervous, a little more into the game, a little more locked in, but it's nice to be in an environment like that this late in the season.
Passionate.
Passionate. A lot of passionate fans out there. It's a little bit calmer. It's a little bit calmer for sure. It is not New York fans. That's never going to be the case. We just have a car driving by. They're probably like, what are these guys doing right now outside of my home with microphones? This is.
Oh, you think it's their home?
This is their home. This is going to be a conversation I think we might be having here shortly. But no, he's driving. Oh, nice dog. How are you? It's a very nice dog.
I see you.
Back to the episode.
I think they were just turning around.
I think they were.
That's a cute dog. Nice doodle.
Nice poodle, I think that just
poodle? That was a poodle? Yeah.
Straight up poodle. But anyway, back to where I was going with the World Series. It's interesting to see it from the fans' perspective of we have no dog in the race here.
Yeah.
We have no vesting interest outside of we want to see our friend Dalton be happy because he's a big Diamondbacks fan. But the fans have showed up, and one thing that they did last night that was really cool was Christian Walker has been struggling mightily. Yeah. And they took a little page out of the Philadelphia Phillies playbook, which
tipped
the cap, one of the few times I'll ever say anything nice about the city of Philly or their fan base. But they gave Christian Walker a standing ovation because he's been struggling, he's been pressing, and he immediately answered with a double.
The first pitch after the standing ovation and the whole crowd chanting his name.
And I think this is something that not only like fans of the Mets can learn, fans of baseball can learn everywhere. Like, these guys are humans. Like, sometimes when you're struggling, you just need a little encouragement to get you back on the horse.
And we say it all the time too, that baseball is such a mental game. And even a guy like Tommy Pham, who again, he was struggling a little bit, has broken out of it in a big way recently. Shout out Tommy Pham.
I think he's got the most hits in the World Series right now.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But he also has gotten huge ovations from this crowd. It's also, I feel like this is something that now might catch on across baseball.
I think so.
Which is going to be a really cool thing that we can know this next year, looking around teams in the league and like who kind of goes out of their way to cheer on the player struggling. And our friend Dalton told us this before the game. He's like, hey, just so you guys know, Christian Walker's first at bat, we're giving a standing ovation. Like, I don't know if it was a social media thing. I don't know if the writers were talking about it, or I don't know if it just got around from word of mouth, but the entire ballpark gave Christian Walker a standing ovation, and he cashed in.
Something I implore us Mets fans to do next year. Players struggling, hey, maybe we don't boo, maybe we cheer, and maybe it helps them. I mean, you see what a positive environment can do for a guy like Trey Turner. You see what it's done now for Christian Walker. All stuff to keep in mind as the wind is howling here. The wind was so calm while we were setting up. As soon as we start, this is what happens when you do an outdoor podcast. We are literally in the mountains right now of Scottsdale, North Scottsdale. We gave you the location; you can find it. But yeah, I mean, it also being there, I'm like, I really want a World Series so badly.
I mean, I said it to you walking in, where it was like I'm trying to cover this side of the microphone for the wind is trying to hit it right now. Yeah,
Smart.
but
pro podcasting.
I had that moment, like the glass doors moment, where like Max Scherzer's pitching and like Tommy Pham's hitting fifth, and I looked at you, I was like, this is weird being here without emotion.
Yeah. Like,
there's some emotion just because like you can feel that as a baseball fan, like being in the scene. And we have also gotten kind of mixed reviews from the Diamondbacks faithful by us being here.
Yeah.
Like, we went out last night after the game, and then we showed our jersey IDs, and they were like, Jersey, Diamondbacks fans were like, oh no, we're Mets fans, we're here visiting, cheering on. The guy was like, come on. I was like, what do you mean come on?
Come on.
But then also like there are some Diamondbacks fans who were like, yeah, happy to have you here, let's go, let's win it. But it is that feeling of like I've only been to one natural playoff game in my life. Last year, the wild card series, which is now considered the playoffs, sure. But like I've been to one like real 5 or 7 game series playoff game in my life, and it was Game 2 in 2006. Where
what happened?
The game was rained out on a Friday night, and then also tragically, that was the night that Corey Lytle perished in a plane accident. And I came again the next day with my dad, my cousin, my uncle, and So Taguchi, the game-winning home run.
Was that off Oliver Perez?
It was either off Perez or Heilman. I don't remember.
I think Heilman gave up the home run in Game 6.
I know he gave the home run in Game 6. I don't think he gave the home run in Game 6. I know he gave the home run in Game 6. But no, 7, not 6. 7.
7.
Come on. Yeah, it's all getting jumbled ahead. But so this is the first time I've ever even been to a playoff game outside of that.
Yeah.
So it's just weird to have this environment and not be the Mets.
I've been to 3 World Series now, because I also went to the COVID World Series at the Rangers Stadium, which is also weird now because now they're in the World Series a few years later. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'll also just straight up talk about the series. It's been a phenomenal series.
Really good baseball.
Really good baseball. Like, if you're a baseball fan, you should be tuning into this. We told you about this. Don't listen to the writers. Don't listen to everyone saying this one's boring, nobody cares, low viewership. Sure, while the low viewership thing is a true statement, without a doubt.
It also just doesn't
really
matter at the end of the day. Like, I guess it matters in like a more like macro context where like we want to grow the game, we want as many people watching the World Series as possible. But I don't know, if you're a baseball fan, you're not watching this World Series, you're genuinely missing out. Because Friday night, Game 1 of the series was an instant classic between Corey Seager's home run, extra innings, Miguel Castro, who I poked some fun at on Twitter.
Former Mets.
Yeah, a couple former Mets, and giving up the home run to Adolis Garcia, and then the Diamondbacks just coming right back at them behind Merrill Kelly, a dominant pitching performance. First, I think World Series pitcher to complete 7 innings. I believe I saw a tweet since 2019, which is a crazy thing to think about. And then just another game right here where there was like a couple little moves that happened in Game 3 on Monday night where the entire swing of basically the series changed because now the Rangers have a lead, whereas Christian Walker hits that double like you talked about. Then Tommy Pham had a nice single to drive him in. But Adolis Garcia is one of the best arms in all of baseball, one of the best athletes in the planet, to use a term that you use a lot.
Yes.
And threw a seed to home plate where Christian Walker was getting waved in home, and then he put his head down to really get that extra juice in the run. Mm-hmm. But then he got held up. He didn't see the sign, and he got thrown out by a 1.5 which it took a perfect throw. We kind of disagreed on whether or not he should send. I don't think you should send a guy home in the second inning of a World Series game with nobody out and your lineup still coming up behind him.
I thought you should have. I thought it was a good aggressive play. I think it's the World Series. You had Max Scherzer on the mound, who we know gets rattled kind of easily in these games a little bit here. And I don't know. I like this. It literally took a perfect play.
Yeah.
And the Rangers executed the perfect play. That's just straight up good baseball. That's what theoretically, you're not wrong.
No, yeah.
But I think, like, vibes-wise, I like the vibe of just, like, go home. We're trying to score. They score that run, that does change the whole game, too.
For sure. And also,
like, that's a game-changing play no matter what.
Yeah, if second and third, nobody out, and you put the ball in play, that also, again, changes the
Could.
game no matter what. Could, yeah. And, again, a guy like Max Scherzer who didn't strike. I think he struck only one guy out the whole game. So all you do is put the ball in play. I don't think the Rangers would have brought their infield in that position. But we'd have liked to see that because there was a lot of chess. There's been great managing this series. Bruce Bochy's been doing great. He had a great time where he went out and talked to the umpires because there was a play, I believe it was in the 8th inning.
Yes.
Where there was a fly ball hit that Alec Thomas made an unbelievable catch at, which really got the Diamondbacks back in the game because momentum really swung away as the Rangers kind of kept, and we'll talk about the Max Scherzer, John Gray in a second, but they had all the momentum. Alec Thomas makes a great catch, and they re-upped at second base to see if he would have missed the throw, and then there was a pickoff made because who was on first base? Evan Carter was on first base, who can't steal a bag, and he threw this. Who was pitching? It was Frias? Luis Frias was pitching, threw to second base because they thought that Carter didn't retouch second base on the great catch. Then they reviewed it, determined that he didn't cross the threshold of second base and make the move to third. But then he already picked him off at first. So then Bruce Bochy was like, is that 2 engagements? Is that 2 disengagements? Is that 3? Like, what's the deal there? Good stuff. Good
baseball all around. I mean, just, again, like, as a Mets fan, I can't stress enough, like, I got a taste of the Mets World Series in 2015 being there. I saw them win a game. I saw that David Wright won. Saw them lose the series. I saw the Royals celebrate on the field. Like, and coming back and seeing now with a significant fan base here, because the COVID World Series, of course, was limited, I missed World Series baseball. I missed being there. I want it so badly for the Mets, and I hope whatever we do this offseason, David Stern's big plan is just get us there, man. Get us there.
And we did feel that in the ballpark last year during that during the Padres series. Like, that game too was one of the most fun baseball environments I've ever had in my entire life. It'll take more playoff baseball to match that and exceed that. But just, again, being here, and the crowd was great. We had a great strategic way to get our tickets. We hung out right next to the stadium until 20 minutes before they threw the first pitch, and we're just watching them drop, refresh, game plan, watch them drop, refresh. It was fun. That was a rush in and of itself. I
can't wait for Citi Field to eventually get that kind of atmosphere around the stadium where like there's just bars and restaurants. I know there's a couple right now. You have the K Corner, which you can go hang out in, and you have Ebbs. But there's just there's a congregation of just so many people all hanging out, all having a good time, all Diamondbacks fans for the most part, where you can just sit and relax, and then literally 2 minutes before the game you can walk right in and go to your seat.
Did meet a couple of Rangers fans, and one Rangers fan had a great point about the way the series has gone so far. He just seemed like a real baseball guy. He was ready to fly back to Dallas the next morning. He's probably back in Dallas right now when we're even recording this, let alone you guys are listening to this. But he was like, yeah, we're the power team, and they're the small ball team. I love the way both these teams play, especially the Diamondbacks, and then they win the game 9-1 on Saturday, where you think that's the game that we should have won. And then a game like tonight, where it's pitching and defense, we find a way to win that game, where you think that's the game style that they should win. So I really think it's going to go 7. I was like, that was a really good point. I like hearing you say that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, GG's to the Rangers as always.
GG's.
Always throw GG's out there. It's been nice. It's been fun. And obviously the weather out here, you can't beat it.
No, I mean, podcasting 85 degrees and sunny right now with a slight breeze.
And a cul-de-sac.
Yeah. Shout out Dalton finding a spot for us. How do you know this spot?
Well, he told us about a game that they played as high schoolers called Hostage, which sounded like a crazy game where you drop your friend in the desert and
see if they can find their way out.
Yeah, figure if they can get their friends to come find them at their location.
Sounds more like some really awful activity you would not do for your friends.
It's a desert. That's desert people.
Yeah, desert people. He's like, oh, we're scared about snakes. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, again, we literally almost crushed an elk or a deer because he was looking at palm trees.
I was dying to see a rattlesnake during this recording, but I don't think we're gonna get it. A couple more minutes.
You say you're dying for it. I'm not.
Well, rattlesnakes, once they start rattling, you just got to move. Get out of the
chaos,
way. Don't get rid of them, yeah.
That would be a fun edit, though.
That would be a fun edit.
That would be a good TikTok.
And some of you guys from last season, you remember the bat. That was also a really fun edit.
Shout out the bat. We miss you.
Shout out the bat. We do miss that bat.
And then to talk about the Mets world, I mean, I know there's a big rumor you guys want us to talk about. You saw probably some of the news that ended up coming out today about what's going on with the Mets. Penn Murphy.
Yes.
They just picked up Penn Murphy.
No, the Mets have showed serious interest in the waiver reliever market so far this offseason. Picked up Penn Murphy. Someone who I like. He's getting some flack for tweeting about him right now. Side armor. He has an amazing slider, better known as a sweeper. Well more than league average in terms of horizontal break. I think slides right across his zone. He throws 88, but he's also a side armor.
Yeah.
And in his career, 80 innings, he has, I think, an ERA in the 2s, a whip under 1, a 28% strikeout rate. What's better than that? 5 years of team control, and he got UCL surgery this summer, so he's probably going to miss at least half of the season this year, if not more of it, depending how recovery goes. But he's coming on a 60-day IL, so doesn't need a 40-man roster spot just yet. He's kind of just a free pitcher, and this is the kind of thing that happens when you end so far down the regular season standings, you're able to be a little bit more aggressive in these waiver claims.
Yeah, I like the move. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it before on the podcast about how we want different locations, different arm slots for guys, it gives us a different arm slot for sure.
Yeah, and a really good pitch. Really good pitch, and he has a 20% strikeout rate and a whip under 1 in 80 career innings.
Yeah, no, Penn Murphy, solid pickup there. I'm sure we'll start to see more and more moves being made as the season goes on. But, of course, the World Series is happening right now. There's not going to be anything big going on until after the World Series, most likely. That's just what it kind of seems like.
Yeah.
And, excited to be out here in Arizona. Beautiful weather. Wanted to give you guys a quick little mini episode while we were out here on location. We were tasked with finding a cactus, be outside somewhere, and
we got one.
I think we did a good job for you guys.
Good cactus.
So anything else to talk about here, James, or is it time to wrap it up?
Yeah, not really. Cars are swirling. I think that things are getting suspicious. We'd have to stop probably soon.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. You know the drill, guys. Follow us on all our social media at MetsUp on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can see what's going on here, we're talking about this, you should go to the YouTube channel of the New York Mets. Closing in on 100K subscribers. Subscribe to the channel. Get them to 100K. Get a cool plaque. So shout out to the New York Mets YouTube channel. I have one. They'll get one soon. Listen to us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Odyssey. Drop us a rating, drop us a review, download and subscribe.
Stare that.
Would love to know what you guys think about these kind of episodes.
Yeah.
We can have more fun with these.
This is fun.
And try them out. I've enjoyed my time here.
This is great. Now we're just going to be standing here, though, waiting for our friend to come back and pick us up.
I think that is Dalton.
Oh, that's Dalton?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, I thought we were just getting stared at.
Maybe we are.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe I shouldn't have pointed.
Maybe you shouldn't have pointed.
Maybe I should have pointed. Maybe it's time to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Mets Up Podcast. Peace out.
Peace out. See you guys next time.